Hey crew, man, is it a good time to be a hunter main because Shatterdive is absolutely busted in PvE. The new patch went live yesterday and the gameplay you are watching is from the new 1360 Master Dungeon, The Grasp of Avarice. So basically the only difficulty harder than this is a grandmaster. That's it. This is master level content. We absolutely destroy everything with Shatterdive, and if any of you thought the changes of cooldown times would affect builds, then don't worry, there is really no difference at all. Actually, in some cases, it even helped, like with Controverse holds. Of course, this is PvE, not PvP. As you are seeing in these clips from the boss room, we basically have unlimited Glacier grenades, and they do a ton of damage now thanks to the changes that happened. We're talking an increase in 15% damage, an increased damage against frozen PvE combatants by 100%, increased crystal detonation damage in PvE by 60%, increase the freeze radius by 1 meter and the crystal detonation radius by 2 meters, and we also got an extra fragment slot now on the Grim Harvest aspect from 2 to 3, which really helps the build out. So basically the Glacier grenade now packs a huge punch damage wise, and its area of damage is crazy on how much it does and how far it actually reaches enemy combatants. We also throw in some survivability with the aspects and fragments we use, and man, it's some of the most fun I've had in a very long time. Also, what you see on screen now is a master mode completion of the dungeon. As you can see, 2 of us were running mod builds. I was on Stasis Hunter and the other was on a Nova Warp build I did about 2 months ago. Look at our kills compared to our third member. That's what the potential of a build brings to the table, a well build. Oh, and we can now save every build in Destiny Item Manager, which I will make a separate video on for you guys because that has made builds 100 times better now. 1 click and we can equip a full build with weapons, armor, and mods. So no longer do you have to be like, oh, it's gonna take me 30 minutes to make a build. No, literally 1 click will equip all the mods, armor, and weapons you need for a build. If you guys enjoy this video, then make sure to hit that subscribe button for me and become part of the crew here. There will be a build pick somewhere in the video for you all, of course, and if you want the one-stop shop like you see on the screen, all the builds I do, then join the Discord to get access to it, and hopefully here in the future soon, we'll have links available soon to just be able to click on Destiny Item Manager and get straight to the build. Now the first thing you want to make sure to have correct is the aspects and fragments, as they are very, very important. So we're on the Revenant Hunter subclass, and I have a Gambler's Dodge on so I can get my melee back dodging near an enemy. I run Triple Dump in PvE. Of course we have Withering Blade, and then you also want the Glacier Grenade. That's what the whole build is built around. For the aspects, you have a Shatterdive. This is how you dive from the air and shatter your crystals, okay? And then you have Grim Harvest. This actually got upgraded to have 1 more fragment slot, so now we can have a total of 4 fragment slots with these 2 aspects on. Grim Harvest is defeating slowed or frozen combatants, creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. For our fragments, the 2 main fragments that make Glacier grenades so strong is Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of this benefit. So this is how we get our grenade back. That's part of the build for getting the grenade back. We get a plus 10 resilience out of this. And then we have Whisper of Fissures. Increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. This is what makes the Glacier grenades go boom. We have Whisper of Rhyme. Collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield, which falls off after 10 seconds. Collecting additional shards adds to the overshield and refreshes the timer. This also heals you. If you're low on health and you grab a shard, it'll heal you for a chunk of health. I like Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track to your position. That way I don't have to worry about grabbing the shards. They just come to me, and I also get a plus 10 resilience and a plus 10 intellect. But this one is the one that I would say you could trade in and out. Now the mods are super important here. This is what makes or breaks the build. Now on top of our Whisper of Shards, where we get a bonus to our grenade recharge rate, we're running Frosties. So Frosties is pretty simple. Rapid cooldown here is the perk. Increase grenade, melee, and dodge regeneration while sprinting. Dodging increases your sprint speed. So we're always sprinting around, and that also adds to our increase in getting our Glacier grenade back. For our helmet, we're running double Ashes to Assets to get a bunch of super off of those grenade kills. And then as our well mod here, we're running Well of Ordnance. We get additional grenade energy on any solar well we make. On our gauntlets, we're running grenade kickstart, so we get that initial grenade energy when we throw our grenade. We're running elemental ordnance, okay? Right here, I'm running fastball. You can put anti-barrier right here or overload bow, whatever you might need. Okay, in this slot, this is where I always put anti-barrier or overload throughout the dungeon. On our chest piece here, I have explosive well maker. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a solar elemental well. Now, when we explode our Glacier grenade, that is explosive damage. That counts as explosive damage. So every time you kill 2 enemies by shattering a Glacier grenade, you will spawn a well because of explosive well maker. I also have fusion rifle reserves and sniper damage resistance on here. On my boots, I have another explosive well maker. So 2 explosive well makers, okay? So that means we're making 2 wells when we slam into the ground. And then I have bountiful wells on my boots here, or on my cloak, and that's to get an extra well from explosive well makers. So now we're spawning 3 solar wells. All 3 of those solar wells gives us ability energy and extra grenade energy because of Well of Ordnance. Now also on my bond, I have particle deconstruction because of course I was running a fusion rifle. If you don't need to be the one with particle deconstruction, then you're going to be running thermoclastic strike and resonant siphon. Okay, both of those. Now for a little harder content, so for that dungeon, what I did is I switched out explosive well maker here to avoid armor chest piece with protective light, okay, to get my damage resistance. And then on my gauntlets, instead of running elemental ordnance, right? So every time that we got a kill, slammed our grenade, elemental ordnance was kind of buggy for whatever reason. I'm not sure what triggers the grenade kill, but sometimes there would be 2 stasis wells that spawn, sometimes there isn't. So this one's a little iffy with the build, but man, when there's 2 stasis wells that spawn with this mod, that means you're creating 2 stasis wells and 3 solar wells, so 5 wells in total. Like, your grenade is not a problem coming back. But for the dungeon, I actually ran elemental charge here. That way I could become charged with light by picking up the solar wells from explosive well maker, and then I would proc my charge with light with protective light to keep me alive. That's what I used within the dungeon. One last thing here on these armor pieces that you see, they have this new perk called Artifice Armor. This armor contains a bonus socket that can be used to equip artifact armor mods from the current season. It's absolutely crazy. Now I can put anti-barrier in this last extra slot instead of having to put it up here. So now up here I can run grenade kickstart and fastball. So it's going to be a big game changer build-wise in the long term. It really only takes advantage of smaller costing artifacts, mods, you know, the ones that cost less, but it's still a big deal because technically, you know, I could take this off, run thermoclastic here now, and I can also run something like bomber, right? So it just adds an extra mod capability in a couple different slots on your armor, and man, does that honor look good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you haven't seen some videos on screen here of builds, there's some really good ones. I also have the void one up here on screen that my friend was using that got him those 500 kills. So I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.